Hi YouTube, Regina here from Simply Fundamental. So, today's topic. Today I want to talk to you about comparison. We've all heard it. Comparison is the thief of joy. But I want to talk to you about comparison being a pitfall. But I'm going to do something a bit different. Normally, when I turn on the camera, I have a topic in mind and maybe I have some bullet points or some facts that I want to reference. But generally, I never have anything written down. I just speak to the camera. But today, I actually wrote a script or an essay, and I wanted to read it to you because I think the comparison topic is so nuanced that I didn't want to leave anything out. And so I wrote an essay. So here it is, and I'm going to read it to you now. And if you find any value in it, or just let me know what you think, hit like, subscribe, and share. Anyway, here it goes. Comparison is a pitfall. Comparison, the quiet thief behind overspending, debt, and discontent. Comparison is one of the easiest pitfalls to fall into. It doesn't shout when it shows up. It drifts into your unconscious thoughts. It doesn't crash in, it enters the moment you open the door. It's the act of evaluating yourself, your life, or your possessions against someone or something else. Not always, but often to measure how you stack up. When it comes to our finances going astray, comparison can be one of the biggest culprits. The direct impact it has on your wallet depends on your anchor. What's the motivation? Are you comparing from a place of insecurity or a place of confidence? What makes comparison powerful is that it often happens automatically and emotionally, not logically. Whether it's something we scroll past or someone we see in person, the impression lingers. A compliment here, a subtle flex there, a glimpse of their home, their car, their clothes, their ease. And without even realizing it, what starts as an observation becomes a comparison. And soon we're measuring our own lives by what we see, by what someone else has or does. What the impression leaves behind and how it moves us is the crucial part. Sometimes comparison holds up a mirror and helps you reflect on what matters most to you. It can spark a desire you've buried or reveal a goal that you hadn't yet named. It might even inspire positive change when you're in a healthy place. When you're grounded, comparison becomes less about copying someone else's life and more about refining your own. You're not emulating or competing, you're making decisions that work for you in your season with your values in mind. And when that happens, comparison isn't harmful, it's helpful. It becomes a way to notice what resonates, to uncover what we've outgrown, or to affirm what we want more of. You observe without abandoning yourself. And that can be beautiful, not because you're molding your life to match someone else's, but because you're using what you see to sharpen your own vision. But when you're vulnerable, that's where it begins to unravel. That's the crutch of competition because you become focused on what you project to the world. It's no longer just about who you are or what you value. It's about how you measure up, how you appear, and how others perceive you. You start making decisions not from a place of alignment, but from a place of performance. You're not just living, you're curating. And it may not present like a problem at first, yet comparison can distort reality. It can look like motivation, maybe even inspiration, like a craving, a dream, a plan to do better. But if you're not careful, comparison's gaze can hypnotize you and put you in a dysfunctional trance, triggering insecurity, envy, impulse spending, or discontent. It takes your eyes off your own life and adjusts your focus on someone else's. And in doing so, it sets you up to pursue things that may not even matter to you. Comparison doesn't always show up as envy. Sometimes it disguises itself as curiosity. You can't always see it. It's not loud. It's subtle, quiet. It doesn't tell you to want what others have. It tells you that what you have may not be good enough. It creates insecurity. Not because anything changed, because you look sideways. Comparison is the thief of joy. It creates longing where contentment once lived. What used to feel fulfilling now starts to feel like it's lagging behind. Comparison becomes the seed of discontent. And the moment those seeds are planted, dissatisfaction takes root. Aspects of your life you never questioned before, your space, your vehicle, your pace, your appearance, now feel like they all need improvement. Things that once seemed unnecessary now feel like requirements. Every choice becomes a signal of success, of status, of belonging. That cozy home you love, it now feels too small compared to your friend's house. You find a realtor. That dependable paid off car, it looks outdated in the parking lot. Time for a new model. Maybe it's something sleeker, more luxurious. That job you enjoy, it doesn't feel like a real career anymore. You quit, go back to school, but without direction. Even your simple skincare routine starts to feel inadequate, so you look for recommended items to add to yours. You can end up crafting a life that looks good on the outside, a life that impresses others, because when you're always competing, you're rarely pausing. Comparison doesn't just shake your confidence, it rocks your foundation and chips away at your life until you resemble someone else entirely. It throws off your meter on what is enough, on what success is supposed to look like, all while convincing you to measure your life with someone else's ruler. You begin reacting to what others are doing, not reflecting on what actually matters to you. And it drives you to make different choices with your time, energy, and money. Rarely are you stopping to ask, is this what I want? Does this bring me peace? You're too busy keeping up to check in. And in the chase to appear like you're winning, you can lose the very thing that actually matter, all while it erodes your financial stability. Comparison makes you want what you see, and consumerism is right there offering the illusion of a shortcut. Like a faint whisper in your ear, it invades your thoughts, nudging you to browse, to scroll, to shop. There's always a fix, always a product, a promise, a way to feel just a little bit more complete. An opportunity. It shows up surrounded by outside influences, not just the kind on social media, but from the people closest to you, a family member's new dog, a coworker's designer bag, a friend's vacation plans, a neighbor's renovation project. You're not walking around thinking, I want what they have. You're just scrolling, watching, absorbing. And without realizing it, you start to crave what it says about you. Not the thing itself, but the image. That's the hook. And that's how it starts to shape the way you spend. And the cost when temptation strikes, they're not always dramatic. Sometimes it's a $40 Stanley tumbler because everyone else seems to have one, so maybe you should too. Or $300 in hair extensions that you hadn't considered until you saw someone else wearing them and thought it would look amazing on me. Then there's the $30,000 car lease that wasn't in the financial plan, but after riding in your friend's Tesla with the self-driving feature and sleek design, it suddenly feels like a necessity. These purchases, while often impulsive, feel justified. But when they're driven by comparison, not alignment, they don't bring ease or enjoyment for long. They bring pressure to keep up. You're no longer spending with intention, you're reacting, you're copying the masses. That's why it's so easy to fall into the consumerism trap. The line between want and need gets blurry. You're not spending because you truly need something, you're spending because something or someone made you feel like you do. The spending isn't about the purchase, it's about soothing the discontent that comparison stirred up. And it's rarely about the item itself, it's about what it represents. You don't just want the jacket, you want to feel stylish. You don't just want the trip, you want to look adventurous. You don't just want the apartment, you want to feel like you've arrived. That's the pull, the draw. And before you know it, you're not just buying, you're performing, trying to show the world you're doing just fine. As one quote puts it plainly, we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. And it's true, but often the people we're trying to impress aren't even watching. They're too busy to notice, caught in their own comparison spiral, a quiet, exhausting loop of image management and financial strain, trading time for money and money for things, all because we all keep adjusting our lives based on how we think others are living theirs. But here's what's easy to forget: most of the time, you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlighted reel. You see the new home, not the crippling mortgage note. You see the vacation, not the wiped out emergency fund. You see them smiling, not the sleepless nights spending worrying how to pay for it all. And even if they can't afford it, you rarely see the trade offs. The house came with 15 more years of full time work. The lifestyle costs more money, more time, more energy, more peace. Comparison doesn't just steal peace, it throws you off course. You stop choosing with clarity and start reacting. Spending increases not out of recklessness, but as a way to quiet the discomfort comparison leaves behind. Before long, you're not just working, you're hustling to sustain a version of life that was never truly yours. And the irony? The people you're modeling after often aren't as steady as they appear. They're stressed, they're stretched thin. They're chasing an image that looks full from the outside but feels heavy and overwhelming on the inside. It's not just expensive, it's exhausting. And the fallout, it isn't always immediate. Debt accumulates, savings shrink, burnout quietly settles in. They are financially and emotionally drained. And that's the danger of comparison. It doesn't just shift your spending, it reshapes your mindset. It convinces you that true happiness is always one purchase away. And that's how people end up in lives that don't reflect what they truly want: busy, overextended, surrounded by stuff, which often includes payments they'll carry for years. Debt has become so normal that living within your means looks unusual and living below them feels radical. There's a growing restlessness with consumerism and society's overconsumption craze. Some are paring down possessions in favor of minimalism. They want to return to a simpler time where life felt easy, calmer, without all the extra hoopla and noise. That's where the shift to buying less begins, not from shame or restriction, but from a craving for something more real. It may not speak directly to comparison, but it quietly solves some of the financial strain it creates. Once you stop performing with your money, you can start using it to support the life you actually want. That's when you begin building something sustainable. You stop buying for the image and start investing what truly brings you joy. Because the truth is, living intentionally isn't about minimizing, it isn't about deprivation, it's about finally saying yes to what truly matters to you. It's peace, margin, options, spending in a way that feels good after the fact, not just in the moment. And that's where freedom begins. When you start spending with intention, when you stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, does this take me closer to or further from the life I want? This doesn't mean you'll never treat yourself. It means choosing with care, spending on what truly matters to you, not to prove anything, not to keep up, but because it aligns with the life you're building. These aren't impulse buys or guilty pleasures. They're authentic choices, reflections of a life with clarity, not confusion. The real wealth, that's real wealth. Not what it looks like, but how it feels. Not what it proves, but what it protects. And once you stop comparing, you can start creating it. You stop chasing someone else's pace and start defining your own. You budget with purpose, you spend with intention, you breathe easier. So, yes, comparison can be a pitfall, a gateway into the consumerism trap. It can be a thief that steals your clarity, your contentment, your money. But not all comparison is harmful. When approached with awareness, it can be a teacher, a mirror, a motivator, a guide. You can't avoid it, and maybe you shouldn't. The moment you recognize it for what it is, you can stop letting it sidetrack you. Use mindfully, comparison doesn't have to be a trap. Comparison can remind you how far you've come, help you appreciate a life you've intentionally chosen. It can build empathy, deepen gratitude, and even confirm what you don't want. With a healthy dose of perspective, you can admire without chasing, you appreciate without copying, you see someone else's life and say, good for them, and mean it. You're doing your own thing, designing your own life. Because the real flex, it's peace. It's waking up without dread. It's knowing that you don't have to work another 10 years to pay off things you barely use. It's buying back your time. It's freedom. And the real freedom, it's not just being debt free. It's not needing to prove anything to anyone anymore. And that's where the power lies, not in what the world sees, but in how it feels to live your life. Not for them, for you. Intentional, free. That's where joy begins. That's where comparison ends. And that's where contentment reigns. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.